I think what's important for you to understand right there, right now, in this point in your life, that nothing is inherently good and nothing is inherently bad. But do polar opposites exist? Yes, they do. Two different sides of the spectrum, hot and cold, soft and hard. Things like that are polarities, but they do not mean that either side is good or either side is bad or either side is positive or the other side is negative. In a way, they may be different from each other, but it doesn't have that negative connotation like we've put on to a lot of things. So when we try to bring things down to a level of saying that things are good or things are bad, it's not allowing us to have a more open mind. It's kind of like darkness. Without darkness, there is no light. And without light, there is no darkness, because there isn't a contrast between the two different variances. So when we speak of darkness, at the beginning of all existence, everything was engulfed in darkness. Everything was shrouded in darkness. There was nothing else that existed but that darkness. That was until the creative creation of life was formed and spirit was formed, until we understand that light finally existed. But before the light existed, darkness needed to be there. So right now you may be going through a time in which you are going through a phase of darkness, but that darkness doesn't have to be a negative thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You know why? Because that darkness is a space for creation to happen. Imagine the fetus being in the womb of the mother, right? That fetus is growing in a state of darkness. That fetus is allowed a safe space for creation to exist, for creation to flourish. It needs that dark, safe space. So don't allow the perspective of that darkness is bad. We've always already had this negative connotation that on the physical level, darkness is bad, whether it be dark magic, black skin, brown skin. Anything in darkness has been seen in this negative viewpoint or state of viewing. And it's actually not. The thing that we've been running away from the most is actually the thing that we need to be running towards. And that is our darkness. And it's not just to say your shadow. There are aspects of yourself that are in the darkness that need to be brought to the light. But we also need to embrace just the dark aspects of us. And what I want to let you know is that your melanin is your superpower. Melanin is a superpower. And for the longest time, I feel like you've developed maybe an inferiority complex of not believing that you're good enough because of who you are and what you look like, because of these physical plane and these physical minds that have told you that you are less than because of the color of your skin. The crazy thing is, historically, people have put down our people, our highly melanated people, because they understood the capacity of the power in which we held within our bodies, that we held within our skin, that we held within our mind. They knew and they know the power that we have. Why do you think we are such a creative people, such an energetic people, such a spiritual people? It all dwells within us. It's natural. It's innate. It's something that we should be proud of. And even though our history has been stolen, even though things have been taken and rerouted and rewritten and used for other people's gain, people can take our physical things away from us, but they can never take our spiritual essence away from us. That will always be there. Our ancestors will always be there, guiding us into the correct direction and the right direction that is aligned with the purpose. And the purpose right now is to bring back power and energy into ourselves, to uplift ourselves, and to understand that we are an amazing group of people, of highly melanated beings. And even if you're not melanated and you're watching this, just knowing and supporting those around you who are highly melanated, who've been suppressed and oppressed for so long, is so important. It's important for us to know the power that we possess. And it's not to say that we are better than anybody else, but it's to say that we know that we're creative beings. We've created a lot of things in our lives. We've created a lot of things ancestrally, historically, that have been taken away from us. But lo and behold, our melanin has been the superpower inside of us this entire time. Cyber's going on in the background to confirm that your melanin is a superpower. I don't know if you know that, but it is. It allows you to be more spiritually in tune. It protects you from the sun. It allows you to absorb nutrients in a more efficient manner. It allows you to heal way quicker. It allows you to have more endurance, to have more muscular capabilities. It allows you to be more creative, more flowing. It allows you to do so many things on a greater and spiritual level that you have naturally and innately inside of you. And because the world has known our power, they've suppressed it. They wanted us to be in a certain plane and a way of thinking in order for us to not grow as a people. Because when we're not collectively together, we're not as strong. Separated, not as strong. Together, you are powerful. And that's why it's so important for me right now to give out this information and let us know that we are powerful people. We're regaining our strength. We're regaining our energetic connection with the past. The truth is being revealed. That's why I love this age of Aquarius. And I feel like a lot of us are really regaining our power. And I believe that it's important for me to have these channel messages for people who look just like me, because the story has been rewritten a million times over. And the story has never been written about our people. The history has never been written about our people unless it's coming from a place of slavery and a place of servitude, a place of just being owned and ownership. But the truth is, we must emancipate and free ourselves from our own mental slavery. Just like Bob Marley said, we must release ourselves from the bondage of our own mind, from the bondage of the history that has been holding us behind. Because that's where the real warfare is. It's within the spiritual realm. It's spiritual warfare. Because the fight is between us and ourselves, us growing and getting out of the mindset that we are less than and we're not equal to those around us. That's important. But what's more important is you understanding that you've been worthy this entire time. You've never needed to prove that you were good enough. You've always been good enough. Your skin color has been good enough, because when the races of the world were created, it was never multiple. It was only one race, the human race. But you see, religion, culture, nationality, and all these other different things have separated us, have intentionally segregated us. Even though we've come together a little bit more than past times, we're still separated. But they say separate but equal. But look at this. It's still a lot of racism and stereotypes and all these other things going on. But once we realize that we're all just human and we're all just spirits living within human bodies, melanated people just might have a little bit more of the spiritual world tapped in, while the others have a little bit more of the physical world tapped in. But this is the age of Aquarius, and it's really time for us to really, really thrive. It's time for you to thrive in your spiritual essence, meaning getting back to your creative power. This is the time for you to really go after the job you want. This is the time for you to dive into your creative stuff, dive into your passions, dive into all of that, because your melanin is going to push you forward to really getting more connected with the divine. It's going to naturally happen. And as I previously said in my other videos, sometimes we may think we're in control, but we're really not. It's really our divine higher conscious that's really going to lead us back towards the path that we're supposed to be on in the first place. So I really hope you can understand that your melanin has always been a superpower. It's never been something to make you less than. Because I know for a long time that's something that I've even personally struggled with. Understanding that it was never something that made me inferior. It wasn't something that either made me superior either. It was something that made me me. It was a part of my human experience, but it never was me. I think really getting rid of the identity. That's why I'm big on getting rid of identities, especially those attached to ones of negative connotations and ones that really don't uplift me as an individual. Because when I was really taking on that Black persona, taking on that African American persona or identity, it didn't really allow me to expand. It really stifled me, and it created a ceiling for me to which I felt like I couldn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. Because when you're in that reality of perception, you don't believe that you can go further than what the world has told you can. But that was intentional. It's intentional to keep us in boxes so that we don't go outside of the boxes. Because once we start getting outside of the box and into our creative box, we no longer will want to work for anybody else. We will no longer want to do jobs that is slavery work. We're not going to want to work a 9 to 5 if it doesn't involve something that we're passionate in. We're only going to do the work that is most in line with us and that sits well in our spirit. And that, guess what? That's going to turn the world upside down. We're no longer going to invest in things that aren't aligned with us or aligned with our values or aren't valuing our people. It's important that we take our power back. And the first place that you start taking your power back is understanding that your melanin is a superpower. It was never meant to make you feel inferior. Because let me make one thing clear. The darkness existed before the light. There was nothing in the world but darkness. And that darkness is what brought creation here. That darkness is what brought the light here. Because through darkness comes the light, comes the soul, comes life. Through darkness comes life. So through your melanin, which is as above, so below, as it is above in the cosmos, it is within your body. Because whatever is going on up there is going on within you. So of course you are special and you should be recognized, and it should be seen that your melanin brings forth life. It brings forth creation. It's highly, highly beneficial for creation, creativity, anything, any form of creativity, music, art, anything you want to do. It's going to automatically be there because you're already tapped into something so much deeper than just a skin color. So the talk shall continue, but I hope you shall remember that your melanin, it was never meant to be something to make you feel less than. It was meant to make you feel superhuman and just like a god.